A legendary Sega warrior returns. It's time to fight the Locust Horde again. We're fighting some demons in a whole new way, and the Prince is sticking with 2D. It's time for Reviews on the Run. All right, you guys, let's get started with the show. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today, and the big game of this week has been Shinobi Art of Vengeance, developed by Lizard Cube and published by Sega. Going back to its 2D roots with this franchise, it's a hack and slasher. There's some light Metroidvania exploration, and you can retraverse back into areas. You are going to equip yourself with some new abilities that will grant you access to specific secrets and new items that you can pick up. There's a shop where you can augment yourself with new attacks and some new skills, some passive ones and some that you activate. And this is a game I feel that is all about flow. The best thing about playing this new Shinobi is just how it feels. It looks absolutely gorgeous, don't get me wrong, and the music is incredible, but it feels sensational. It's so crisp and precise on your thumbs, and the way that you can move and navigate through the environment and get your hacks and slashes and special attacks in is so gratifying. It is unbelievably joyous to play. Now, that's not to say it's not going to punish you. I think some of the bosses in particular really kind of take all of the skills that you're learning along the way and push you to your limits. I had to play a couple of bosses over and over and over again on the stream. Thank you for everybody's patience while you stood by me until I figured out those bosses. But you do figure them out, and it's unbelievably rewarding.
Yes! All right.
That's the thing. It just feels fantastic to pull yourself through this experience. It is a glorious reinvention of Shinobi for the modern age, but it really honors all of the 2D kind of pixel work and all of the history of this incredible franchise. Lizard Cube, just like they did with Streets of Rage 4, understood what they had to achieve here. They had to appease a lot of people that are old, staunch fans of this, and they had to deliver something new that sort of stands with current gamers' sensibilities and tastes, and I think they've absolutely done that. Now, we just had Ninja Gaiden Rage Band, and everybody keeps asking me which one I like better, and right now I kind of like the pixelated vibe and the dynamic way you traverse in Ninja Gaiden Rage Bound a little bit more, but we're picking from just absolute winners here. You can't go wrong either way. I love Shinobi Art of Vengeance. It's a spectacular game. I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10. All right, let's switch things over to the Netflix sensation of K-pop Demon Hunters. I watched this with my daughter. We're going to hear from her in a second here about her thoughts on this film. My whole family actually gathered around, and we were very surprised at how much we love this movie. It's a Sony Animation Studios film. It's made, I think, in the same kind of flavor and style and passion that we saw out of the Spider-Verse films. Animation kind of evokes some similar kind of aesthetics that way. And it's about this trio of K-pop singers who, like the title suggests, have to wipe out lots of demons that are trying to rise from underground and infiltrate Earth, and they're taking the souls of all kinds of innocent people out there, and these K-pop singers activate their powers very Buffy the Vampire Slayer-like and just hack and slash through hordes of demons, and it's visually a feast, and it's also sonically a feast and audibly a feast. Like, there's some fantastic songs in this. Eventually they connect with these other K-pop singers, this boy band that has some interesting ties. I don't want to spoil too much, but it's not going to be the story that really blows you away with this picture. I think it's going to be the sense of fun, the lightness, the catchy tunes, and the incredible animation. It's a great film. It's just a lot of fun. It's also become this phenomenon where people are actually going and watching sing-along versions of this in theaters, so you know this has sort of hit the cultural moment. But I wanted to hear from my daughter Ruby. I wanted to hear what she had to say about K-pop Demon Hunter.
It was a really good movie. I was honestly surprised. I don't know why I was though, because literally all of my friends were raving about it. But oh my god, it was so good. The songs were good, but they weren't spectacular. It wasn't music that I would listen to on a daily basis, but for movie music, it was pretty good. I really liked the characters. I feel like they gave you someone to relate to. You're watching this, you're like, okay, I'm Rumi for sure. I'm gonna give K-pop Demon Hunters a 9 out of 10.
Thanks, Ruby. Great comments, great score. I'm going to give K-pop Demon Hunter an 8.5 out of 10. We are certainly living in an era of a lot of remakes and revisits. I recently talked about Metal Gear Solid Delta for PlayStation 5 Pro and had a good time. But guess what? I've also played something a little bit strange on my PlayStation 5 Pro. It's Gears of War Reloaded. Microsoft sent me a code. It's still strange to receive a code from Xbox for a PlayStation game. And it plays beautifully on this platform. You can boost everything up to 120 frames per second if you've got the hardware to manage that, and there's a crispness to the fidelity and the quality of everything. It's definitely rooted in some 20-year-old mechanics, just like Metal Gear Solid Delta was, and so you have to kind of grapple with that a little bit. There's a lot of these triggering moments where you walk into essentially an arena, where all the Locust Horde is going to come and attack you, and there's a rinse and repeat kind of sense about that. But it's hard still not to marvel at how much they nailed it on the first try. The roadie run is so much fun to kind of crouch and zip, and the duck and cover kind of shooting mechanics and the active reload, all of these systems that have been copied and borrowed from liberally across the video game industry ever since this game launched. Also aesthetically, it still looks incredible. All the characters, all the destroyed beauty. I do find that as the series went on, there was a little bit more diversity in some of the environments. I think there's a lot of sameness, and I found myself sort of like wondering which way to go, and I think I've been in this courtyard before. But still, it's beautiful, it's challenging, especially if you hop online and you reconnect with all the lifers that have been playing Gears all the way. I was getting my butt kicked playing online, but I was still having a lot of fun. A lot of rolls, a lot of trying to like sneak and stealth, and then somebody zips around a corner and blasts you with a shotgun, and you're in little chunks and bits. A lot of chunks and bits. There's also some customization options and little comic book covers that you can pick up by picking up all of the COG dog tags along the way. Man, this felt like a homecoming in a really, really nice way. Very strange still to be playing it on PlayStation, but it is the sign of this new era where all the cats and dogs are going to be living together. Everybody's going to be playing nice. We're going to be playing more PlayStation stuff on Xbox soon, and I know a lot more Xbox stuff is coming to other platforms. But Gears of War Reloaded, a lot of fun. I don't know if it's essential if you've been playing other Gears games along the way. I don't know if it's essential if you picked up the Ultimate Edition that came out for Xbox One. The nice thing is that this is a freebie if you have that already. And of course, it's on Game Pass if you have a Game Pass subscription. All I can tell you is I had a lot of fun, and it was weird and cool. And probably my favorite thing about playing this on PlayStation 5 Pro was all of the sound effects that came out of the DualSense controller, all the radio chatter, the chainsaw buzz and sounds. I love that. And it was just fun to play. It felt great. I'm going to give Gears of War Reloaded an 8.5 out of 10. All right, I've got something a little different and very cool for you. Just before my family and I took off on our holiday in Europe, I got a press release from a company called Snakebyte. And part of that press release were some new cases that they were delivering, as well as some new power supplies. And so I asked them to send me some of the stuff, and I'll take a look at it and review it. And it came in perfect time because we were taking off. And so my daughter did not have a case for her Nintendo Switch 2, and I gave her the protective shell version of their Switch Case S2, and that is the one that she took with her everywhere. And so we were taking trains all across from Switzerland to Italy to Paris to London, and she had that case handy with her. What I really enjoyed about that case is that the straps that hold the Switch 2 in don't cross the screen in any way, and there's also a little protective sort of flap that comes over that you can pop in all kinds of Switch 2 cartridges into, or Switch 1 cartridges into, and it also doesn't have any way of scratching the screen. I thought that was very cool. But they also sent a starter pack, which came with the same case without this kind of protective coating on it. It was just a black sort of nylon-y case with the same insides, with the flap, with the cartridge holders and all that. But it also came with some earbuds and some rubber wrappers for the Joy-Con controllers and rubberized grips for the thumbsticks. And also importantly was a screen protector, which is what I used to apply to my daughter's Nintendo Switch 2. And so I thought that starter pack was actually a pretty good little collection of items, and I was impressed with the screen protector. Went on super easily, and it doesn't really show up on my kid's Switch 2 screen. You can't really see the edges on it at all, which is awesome. They also sent this big carrying kit where you could take all of your goodies and put it into almost like this satchel type thing, and that was a little too much. It was also like a little bit too much of an advertisement that I am carrying around a Nintendo Switch 2 right now, which you don't really want to do. You want to kind of keep that hidden from everybody. But they did send a fast charger called the Power Charge S2, and boy, did that become very useful for us. Snakebyte is based over in Europe, and they've got their own website where you can buy some stuff. I have been looking online for Canadian retailers. I'm not exactly sure where you're going to be able to pick these things up, so you got to do a little bit of research on pricing and stuff. But from what I saw on pricing, it all looked pretty reasonable. But this Power Charge S2 was great because it had different connectors for the different types of power outlets that we were going to encounter in Europe. One for the UK, one for all around in Europe, and then of course one for North America. And it worked great. And anything else we used with that USB-C cable charged very quickly and efficiently. So that became an essential travel item, and I would definitely recommend that. Honestly, I've been impressed. I've never heard of Snakebyte before. I've never received any of their peripherals or their accessories, but all of the stuff was really well made, and now it is used in our day-to-day, and they're perfect for traveling. So I can't really score these. All I can say is that they're good products, and if you're looking for a case for your Nintendo Switch 2, take a look at what Snakebyte has to offer, and if you're looking for a new charger, check out that Power Charge S2. Pretty cool stuff. Another 2D game that I had fun streaming this week is the Rogue Prince of Persia. This is a roguelite that takes the Prince of Persia idea, which is all about being able to scramble over walls and get past obstructions and get into really cool, well-orchestrated little battles and find all the secrets and toggle the switches that allow you access to different environments. It takes a lot of those mechanics and applies them to a roguelite kind of concept where you're trying to get as far as you can on each successive run that you take, much in the same way that a Dead Cells game might play out. And this really does evoke the flow and the feel of Dead Cells, but in a Prince of Persia comic book wrapper. And I love the art aesthetic. I know it doesn't look as flashy as something like Shinobi, which I've talked about, or Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. It has its own kind of flow and its own kind of feel, but it is also equally hypnotic in the way that the character moves and the rewards that the game continues to offer. And so you're picking up different items and you're unlocking new skills and you're having conversations that kind of, Groundhog Day repeat, because that's part of the way that the game is designed, but you're chipping away at the mysteries, you're solving a little bit more about who you are and what you're capable of, and you're getting deeper and deeper into the game. Now, you're going to see a lot of the same things over and over again. Of course, there's some flexibility in the way that the levels are created for you. It's not the same run every single time. But I can tell you that it was just really fun to play. It was very hooky and very satisfying and very well crafted. And I kept thinking about Jordan Mechner's Prince of Persia comic book as I was playing this. It's almost like they ripped it right from the pages of that and animated it. And it was just a freaking cool game. I do think that it's kind of getting buried because we have a lot of cool 2D experiences right now to dive into. And it's certainly not as compelling as Ninja Gaiden or Shinobi. But it's still fun, especially if you're a Prince of Persia fan like I am. I'm going to give the Rogue Prince of Persia an 8 out of 10. I also saw a brand new Darren Aronofsky film this week. It's called Caught Stealing, and it stars Austin Butler and Zoe Kravitz. Matt Smith is in this. Vincent D'Onofrio and Liev Schreiber are in this. Great cast, very colorful and very kinetic story. Now, the movie's about this bartender in New York City, played by Austin Butler, who's got a bit of a tragic past, which I won't spoil here, who gets caught up in this crime because he does a favor for a friend, and he doesn't know what the hell is going on, and things escalate and get super violent and fast-paced and crazy and out of control. And it's a bit of a shock as you're sitting there in the theater watching all kinds of pain start happening with these different cast members. A lot of it, with Austin Butler. He really gets the shit kicked out of him in this film. And some of it you're kind of looking through your fingers. It's a little bit hard to watch, but it's really well put together. The script is written by Charlie Houston, who's written for some comic books in the past. And I think the snappy, punchy kind of requirements that you need for comic books translates well to a script like this, which has some pulpy kind of overtones, and it also evokes the Martin Scorsese classic After Powers. And interestingly, Griffin Dunn has a nice little part in this film as well. And it's incredibly intelligently crafted, and kudos to Austin Butler and Zoe Kravitz for inhabiting their characters so beautifully on screen. It's clear that Austin Butler is so primed to be a massive, massive star at this point. Like, he is much more than Elvis Presley. He was incredible in that film, but he has a lot of chops, and he's great in this role. It flies by. You're on the edge of your seat watching all of this cool interplay, this fantastic dialogue. There are a lot of comedic moments, and there are a lot of, honestly, quite horrifying moments, but it's elegantly composed by Darren Aronofsky. You are really entertained by this, and I honestly, absolutely encourage you to get out into the movies. Go to the movies. Go see this thing in the theaters. I know a lot of you are exhausted by superheroes and sci-fi and all that other stuff. This movie is set in the 90s. It's grounded, even though it's heightened and things get out of hand in the picture, but it's still human and it's still so well made. It is a great, snappy crime thriller of a flick. I'm gonna give Caught Stealing a 9 out of 10. That's going to do it for Reviews on the Run this week. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for hanging with me on all of the streams that we've got going. And hey, if you're in North America and you're looking for a killer deal on a new PC, check out game.intel.com/gamerdays. That is running from August 25th to September 7th. And over on our Facebook page for Canadians at facebook.com/electric playground, we're giving away an Intel Arc B580 graphics card. Go there to enter. Thanks for watching, everybody. We will see you soon. And until then, play forever.